312 days. The only clock that mattered was the steady shh of the air filtration unit. My name is Lyra, and for 312 days I have been the only living thing inside this concrete tomb. Before, there was my father. He was a man built of grease stains, solder wire, and stubborn optimism. He spent the last 10 years of his life building this place, shielding us from the ash-choked skies of a world that ended when I was just a child. But 3 weeks ago, his heart simply gave out. There was no grand explosion, no final battle against the harsh world outside. Just a quiet cessation. I buried him beneath the hydroponic bays in the only soil we have left that still grows anything green. Now, it is just me, and Silas. Silas is an heavy-duty industrial unit, a relic from the old world. His chassis is scratched, his original blue paint long ago faded to a dull, rusted gray. He has 3 optical sensors that glow a soft, warm amber in the dark of the bunker. He doesn't speak. His vocal synthesizer was crushed in the collapse of the city years ago. But he possesses a quiet, comforting weight. When he moves, his hydraulic joints hiss a familiar lullaby that tells me I am not entirely alone. Across the metal workbench lie my father's most prized possessions, a customized ham radio receiver, a brass signal booster, and a handwritten map of the local radio towers. The sky is never completely dead, Lyra, he used to tell me, his fingers tracing the copper veins of a circuit board. Someone is always listening. You just have to find the right frequency. Today, I finally decided to look. Stepping out of the bunker is like stepping into a charcoal drawing. The sun is a pale, watery coin struggling to pierce a permanent canopy of gray clouds. The ruins of the old city loom in the distance like the ribcage of a long-dead beast reclaimed by twisted, pale vines that feed on the toxic soil. We need supplies. The hydroponic bays are failing without my father's touch, and the canned rations are dwindling. Stay close, Silas, I whisper, my breath blooming in the freezing air. The massive android steps out behind me, his heavy tread vibrating through the soles of my boots. He carries the heavy canvas packs, his optical sensors scanning the horizon in a slow, sweeping arc to him. The ruined world is just a series of thermal signatures and structural integrity calculations. To me, it's a graveyard of a civilization I barely remember. We move through the skeletal remains of an old supermarket. Silas uses his immense strength to pry open a collapsed steel fire door, revealing a forgotten pantry. I find 3 cans of preserved peaches and a dry box of synthetic protein bars. It is a treasure trove in this new world. As I pack them away, Silas suddenly freezes. His amber sensors turn to a deep, warning red. He steps in front of me, his massive metal arm extending to shield my body. Through the haze, a pack of wild, emaciated wolves, mutated by the fallout, their eyes glowing with desperate hunger, circle the entrance. Silas lets out a low, bass, heavy vibration from his chassis. It's not a voice, but a warning. The wolves, sensing the sheer, unyielding force of the machine, hesitate. Slowly, they melt back into the gray fog. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. "Good boy, Silas," I murmur, patting his cold steel flank. "Let's get to the tower." The transmission tower sits atop the highest ridge of the city's old communication hub, perched precariously over a sheer cliff of shattered concrete. The wind up here is ferocious, pulling at my heavy winter coat, threatening to tear the breath from my lungs. In my backpack, wrapped in protect canvas, is my father's signal booster. It's a heavy, clumsy piece of tech, cobbled together from military surplus and salvaged television parts. The ladder up the tower is rusted, missing rungs every few feet. I look up at the dizzying height. My hands are shaking, partly from the cold, partly from the fear of what lies at the top. "I have to do this, Silas," I say, looking back at the android. He cannot climb. He is too heavy, his chassis unsuited for the vertical ascent. He stands at the base of the tower, his amber eyes tilted upward, watching me. He tilts his head, a gesture my father programmed into him to mimic curiosity, or perhaps worry. I begin the climb. Every step is a battle against the wind. The cold metal bites through my leather gloves. Halfway up, a rung snaps beneath my boot. I slip, my heart leaping into my throat as I dangle by my fingertips over the gray abyss. Below, Silas takes an abrupt step forward, his arms reaching upward as if he could catch a falling star. I take a deep breath, pull myself up, and keep going. At the summit, surrounded by the howling emptiness of the world, I reach the junction box. My fingers are stiff, but the muscle memory of watching my father work takes over. I splice the booster into the main transmitter line. I flip the heavy toggle switch on the booster. A tiny green LED light blinks to life. The transmitter hums, sending a powerful, invisible wave of energy cutting through the heavy, ash-laden sky. I am back in the bunker. The trek down was a blur of exhaustion. Now I sit at my father's desk. The radio is connected to the boosted antenna high above. Silas stands behind me, his chassis radiating a gentle heat from his hard-working reactor. I turn the heavy plastic dial of the receiver. Static high-pitched whines, cosmic background radiation, the sound of a dead earth. This is Lyra. I speak into the heavy metal microphone, my voice trembling. Broadcasting from Sector 4G, the old metaponent ruins. I am alive. I have food, shelter, and a Class 4 companion unit. If anyone is out there, please, on this frequency, or any other, respond. I wait. The static fills the room, heavy and suffocating. I turn the dial a fraction of a millimeter. This is Lyra. Is anyone there? Nothing, only the endless, cold hiss of a quiet universe. Tears prick the corners of my eyes. The weight of the realization settles over me that I am truly, completely alone, that my father's hope was just a comforting lie he told to a little girl to keep her from giving up. I reach out to turn off the receiver. Suddenly, Silas's hand, heavy, metal, and warm, gently rests on my shoulder. He doesn't squeeze, but the weight of his palm is a physical reminder. Don't give up. I pause, my hand hovering over the power switch. Through the white noise, a new sound emerges. It's not the random pitch of the wind or the hum of the machine. It's a rhythmic, pulsing pattern. Crackle. Hiss. Hello. Is anyone there? My breath hitches. I grab the dial, fine-tuning the frequency with agonizing slowness, repeating, "This is Station Meridian. We are receiving a boosted signal. Sector 4G. Do you copy?" The voice is faint, buried under layers of static, but it is undeniably human, a woman's voice, strong, real. I look up at Silas. His amber eyes seem to burn a little brighter in the dim light. I grab the microphone, pressing the talk button with all my strength. This is Lyra. I laugh, a tear spilling down my cheek. I copy you, Meridian. I copy you loud and clear. I am here. And for the first time in 312 days, the silence of the earth is finally broken.